Jesus called for that inner circle of disciples to watch and pray during his time in Gethsemane while he prayed a great prayer of dedication to the Father's will. Good morning. I'm Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Thursday. When we consider the dangers of temptation in our daily lives, and we're reminded of Jesus' admonition to his closest disciples here in Gethsemane. First, he called for them to watch and pray, while he went a little further on to pray himself. But when he returned, he found them sleeping, and he rebuked them in Matthew 26:41 by saying, "What, could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." Of course, Jesus had a clear view into the future and knew the terrible times that he and his disciples were about to face from the Romans and from the Jewish leaders. These disciples sometimes seem to be oblivious to his warnings, all of his teachings, and the concerns that he showed from time to time. And to be honest, sometimes we seem sort of oblivious as to what may be coming or facing us in the very near future as a church or as believers today. He said, "Could you not watch with me for 1 hour?" Now, it was very late. The Bible tells us they had just finished supper together. They had walked out into the garden there, and Jesus had called for them to watch because he said, "My soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to death. Stay here and watch with me." I wonder sometimes, are we that apathetic toward those who are hurting and request us to pray for them? Do we forget, or do we fall down on the job? Jesus warned these men, "Watch and pray that you enter not into temptation." First, we are called to be watchful. I know 1 Peter 5:8 says, "Be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, is like this roaring lion, walking about seeking whom he may devour." And I believe if we understood the concept of him devouring us, destroying our Christian lives, we would certainly be more sober and more vigilant, more watchful, as we're called to here. Jesus also called for them to watch and pray. Now, that is a continual state of prayer, as Paul commanded, "Pray without ceasing." They needed this kind of communication with the Lord always. When Jesus' disciples wanted a lesson that brought about the model prayer, their actual request to Jesus was, "Lord, teach us to pray." It almost sounds like they weren't saying, "Teach us how to pray," or "Teach us what to say." Lord, just teach us to pray. We need those lessons today too. And he said, "Watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation." Now, Jesus knew they were going to be tested in some pretty extreme ways, pretty suddenly here in the very near future, things that they had never experienced before. And by the way, he also knows what kind of things that we're going to face on a daily basis. He knows the temptations that are coming in our path, in our future. So just as he said to those disciples there in the garden, let's hear his warning today. Watch, be alert, be vigilant, because you know Satan's wiles. He is out to get us. Be looking for those kind of temptations. And pray. Keep a constant communication line open with the Lord so that he can show us where we need to be watchful, so that he can guide and direct our steps in a better way. Watch and pray that you would enter not into temptation. Let's try our best to avoid those pitfalls today that we know are out there. The Lord has already directed us. Watch and pray so that we won't fall to those temptations today.